let's kick it off with basketball. Actually, let's drop in or tip off, as they would say in basketball. And let's get right into it. We're going to go over some of the basketball awards. And because basketball is, they've had a lot of betting drama throughout this 2026 season. A lot of the odds aren't available unless some sports books may have odds depending on what you find, but most of the odds on basketball aren't available. So if you are looking for basketball odds or where the market kind of lies, you can check out Kalshi. That's what we're going to be using for basketball today, and anything I can get odds on, I will. But with Kalshi, we can see what the market looks like. And we're going to start off with our defensive player of the year. So starting off, DPOY is given out to top defensive player of the year. And really right now, it looks like there's only 4 options getting more than 1% on Kalshi. So it looks like fans are kind of leaning towards these 4 options: Scotty Barnes, Rudy Gobert, Chet Holmgren, and Victor Wembanyama. Now, little preface, I did go to Washington, D.C. over the Christmas vacation, Christmas 2025. And I was able to see the Spurs take on the Wizards live at the Capital One Center in D.C. And I think I'm going to have to go with Victor Wembanyama here as my defensive player of the year. He is leading Kalshi's projections at 75% of the market, leaning that way. So I think I'm going to go with Wemby. I feel like he's just a dominant force when it comes to blocks and stuff like that. The only other player in the league that even comes close is Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet is second in the Kalshi market predictions, but as of, let's see here, I don't know, about a week ago, it looks like, or at the beginning of February, it looks like Chet was winning the race and then swapped with Wemby. Wemby starting to come back from that injury that he had earlier in the season. He took some time off. When I saw him in Washington, he came off the bench against the Spurs or against the Wizards. So Wemby starting to get back into full strength mode. I think that's why the odds flip there. So I'm going to go Wemby as my DPOY for the NBA. Moving on, we've got 6-man of the year, your 6-man winner of the year. Right now, Naz Reid leading the market at 53% on Kalshi. I am kind of a Peyton Pritchard fan here. Pritchard's getting 3% of the market. And I think that honestly, he's got some decent odds at winning that, but I know Naz Reid is helping the Timberwolves look a lot better. Ant does a lot of the work out there, the heavy lifting, but I know that Naz Reid is also stepping up big for the T-Wolves. So we're going to go with Naz, even though I'd throw a flyer on Peyton Pritchard just to win 6-man of the year. If you can, try and find that wherever. Let's move on to Rookie of the Year. Now, Rookie of the Year has become somewhat of a tighter race at the beginning of the season. Before the NBA season tipped off, I think I had alluded to VJ Edgecombe being my Rookie of the Year. Now that we're about halfway through the season, or a little over halfway, Rookie of the Year has kind of been narrowed down. It looks like the market is really between 2 players. It's going to be Con Knuppel and Cooper Flagg, 2 Duke players that really have been competitive against each other. Knuppel getting the edge between the 2 when they faced off the Hornets and the Mavs. And Knuppel's been impressive throughout the All-Star break, competing in the three-point contest, and just his performance on the court. I feel like he has a huge impact for the way that the Hornets perform. I know obviously they have LaMelo and he's the main focus out in Charlotte, but I feel like Con Knuppel is becoming his own Lonzo or LaMelo Ball, stratosphere. Like, he's becoming another superstar in Charlotte. But I think Cooper Flagg does the same thing in Dallas. I think that he is such an important piece when it comes to the Mavs and the way that they perform. So I think that I'm going to go with Cooper Flagg here, although I think it is a tighter race than people may think. Looking at it, the market right now is 62% to 42%. Cooper Flagg leading that race, but I really think it's closer to a 50-50 shot. And as we look, since the beginning of February on Kalshi, it's really been Knuppel closing the race, and Cooper Flagg dropped down from, at one point he was at 88% chance of winning rookie of the year to now, again, like I said, 62%. So it's trending in the direction of Knuppel, but I'm going to go with Cooper Flagg still. That does it for our rookie of the year. Now for our MVP winner, this one is also an interesting race because Nikola Jokic is second in market predictions at 22%. However, if he misses any more time, he might be unqualified to win MVP. If you get so many, if you have to play so many games a season to qualify for MVP. If you don't play that many games, you are ineligible for the award. And I know Jokic is getting close to missing enough time to not be qualified for that award. So right now, SGA Shea is leading the race. He's 54. He's holding the market at 54% on Kalshi. However, I like Cade Cunningham to be in the discussion. He's third on the list here at 16% of the market going to Cade Cunningham. And if Shea gets injured and misses too much time, and Jokic is ineligible, I think Cade would be the dominant force there. But I think the race has to go to Shea. He's the number one player in the NBA right now. I mean, Jokic obviously is a physical specimen. Him and Wemby are two unique people who, there's not another human out there that looks like them. So obviously they're talented enough in their own aspect when you look at their physical abilities. But despite physical abilities, if you just look at best basketball player overall, regardless of physical abilities, I think it's SGA. So we're going to choose Shea for our MVP awards. Now for the futures for conferences, Eastern Conference champion and Western Conference champion. This is going to be interesting. We just talked about Cade Cunningham and how successful he's been this season. In the East, it's really down to three teams. I think the Knicks have kind of fallen off from where they were last year. And the Celtics have kind of leaped them, in my opinion, with the way Jaylen Brown has led the team. No Jason Tatum, Peyton Pritchard, potential sixth man of the year, Derek White even stepping up and helping lead that team to some success. Boston has stepped up and they're controlling 25% of the market right now. However, the top two teams, I think, even though I'm a Celtics fan, I think that it's between the top two teams, Cleveland and Detroit. Cade Cunningham is really leading the Pistons, and they are the number one team in the East. However, the Cavs, they've added James Harden before the deadline. Him and Spida look amazing. It's really tough. I don't want to be a homer and say the Celtics, but I just feel like Jaylen Brown should be in that MVP discussion. And because he's performing so well, I'm going to go, you know what? Screw it. I'm saying the Celtics win the East. I'm going with the homer pick, and we're going to choose the Celtics. If J-Dawg was here, he'd be throwing a fit, but he's not. So we're going to just go with my pick anyways. And we're going to take the Celtics out of the East for your Eastern Conference champions. And now out of the West, it really is down to two teams. I don't think the Nuggets are in there. However well they perform, Jokic is really the only reason why you would even consider them to win the West. But it's really between the Spurs and Oklahoma City. Wemby versus Chet, the battle that we're going to be able to see in the playoffs, hopefully. I think Wemby is strong enough to carry the Spurs by himself to the Western Conference Finals, but I don't think he's strong enough to beat Oklahoma City, the reigning, defending, undisputed NBA champions, Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they're going to win the West. So I think it's going to be a Thunder-Celtics matchup here in the finals. And I think that we might see back-to-back Oklahoma City Thunder champions. I don't think I can pick anyone else. I mean, before the All-Star break, they just looked unstoppable. They had, SGA got injured right before the All-Star break, took some time off. And I think that was the perfect time for them to face some injuries, to go through some turmoil like they did. And I think that's, the thing that'll establish their dominance in the West, and what separates them from the other teams is how they are able to stay healthy. If they can continue that throughout the rest of the season, I think without question, they'll be the NBA champions at the end of the year.